Hello students, this is Stereochemistry class revision part 2. In this class we are going to discuss with that means revision of geometrical isomerism and the relationship between symmetry and chirality and about racemic mixture, racemic modification and resolution techniques, and the last one is prediction of number of stereoisomers for a chiral molecule. The first one, that is coming to geometrical isomerism, which is also known as cis-trans isomerism. It is possible in these type of molecules. See here, C double bond C, that is alkenes, C double bond N and N double bond N, and moreover in cyclohexane molecules also. And see, let us see this cis-trans isomerism. For this, in alkenes, each carbon, you know that in alkenes, that is the sp2 hybridized carbon is again attached to two more groups. For this, that means for showing cis-trans isomerism, the two groups attached to a sp2 carbon must be different. The two groups attached to sp2 carbon must be different, and moreover, in the that means the two groups attached to each sp2 carbon, in that groups at least one group should be common on the two sp2 hybridized carbons. It means at least one common group should be attached to each sp2 carbon. Then and only there is possibility of showing cis-trans isomerism. See here, this is one more example. See here, this molecule also shows cis-trans isomerism because it is the two sp2 carbons having one common group. Hence, this molecule shows cis-trans isomerism. This type of molecule, see here, it doesn't show cis-trans isomerism because on this sp2 carbon, two groups attached are same. That's why it doesn't shows cis-trans isomerism. Next, coming to this type of molecule, see here, the two groups, of course, the groups attached to each sp2 carbons are different, but there is no common group on the two sp2 hybridized carbons. There is no common group. That means it is not possible to designate the molecule as cis or trans. Hence, for these type of molecules, there is another type of configuration is there, that is EZ configuration is there for these type of molecules. But this type of molecules we cannot assign cis-trans isomerism. And coming to these type of molecules, they show cis-trans isomerism. These type of molecules also they show cis-trans isomerism. See, let's see this molecule. It shows cis-trans isomerism. This molecule also shows cis-trans isomerism, and moreover, for this type of molecule, see here, if the similar groups are same side, if the common group or if the similar groups are same side, same group is same side, then it is said to be cis isomer. If the same groups are opposite side, then it is said to be trans isomer. This is same group, same side, hence it is cis isomer. Same group, opposite side, it is said to be trans isomer. For this molecule, see here, again one group is common on the sp2 carbon, that is A and A. With respect to A, we can assign cis and trans names. That is, see here, the same group is opposite side, hence it is said to be trans molecule. Here in the second molecule, the two groups are same side, hence it is said to be cis molecule. I think it is clear. That means if the same groups are same side, the molecule is cis molecule. If the same groups are opposite side, the molecule is trans molecule. See here, this type of molecules, the carbon is having two, that means same groups on same side, and on same carbon, hence it doesn't show cis trans isomerism. This type of molecules also, that means on each carbon same groups are there, hence it also, that means it doesn't show cis trans isomerism. Next, see here, for assigning this type of molecules, see here, this methyl group opposite side, hence it is trans. Here the two methyl groups are same side, hence it is cis. Next, see here, this type of molecules, in this on the two sp2 carbons, the methyl groups are common. That means with respect to methyl group, we can assign cis trans. See here, the methyl group is same side, hence cis molecule. The methyl group is opposite side, hence it is trans molecule. I think you have understood about this cis trans isomerism. Very simple. For this type of molecule, see here, on each carbon atom, the methoxy group is common. See here, methoxy group. Here first case same side, cis. The second case opposite side, hence trans. I think you have understood about this. Coming to next, see here, this is the molecule. For this type of molecule, it doesn't show cis trans isomerism because this carbon is attached to same group. That means the two groups attached to carbon are same. That's why it doesn't show cis trans isomerism. Coming to the cis trans isomers, the properties of cis trans isomers. See here, coming to dipole moment, the cis isomer is having high dipole moment because the same groups are similar groups are same side. That's why more polarity, that means having more dipole moment. Coming to trans isomer, the similar groups are opposite side, hence it is having less dipole moment. Coming to boiling point, it depends upon the ionic character. That means in terms it depends upon dipole moment, hence cis isomer is having more boiling point than trans isomer. And coming to melting point depends upon how molecules are packed. That means trans isomer he is having high melting point than cis isomer. Coming to reactivity, trans isomers are generally stable. The cis isomers are generally having high reactivity. Coming to this cis trans isomerism, this is about cis trans isomerism. And next, EZ nomenclature or EZ configuration. See here, same like ORS nomenclature. In this type of EZ configuration also, we have to give priority to the groups on each carbon atom. For example, see here, to this carbon atom two groups are attached. For this we have to give 1,2 priority, or on this carbon atom also two groups are there. For these groups also we have to give 1,2 priority, so that if the same priority groups are same side, then it is said to be Z molecule, and if the same groups are opposite side, then it is said to be E molecule. If the same priority molecules are same side, then Z configuration. If same priority groups are opposite side, then it is configured as E configured molecule. Then coming to the sequence rules, because as we have to give priority to the groups attached to the sp2 carbons, we have to give priority, we have to go with some sequence rules. They are called as CIP rules, same like in ORS nomenclature or solferation, that is Kohn, Ingold, Prelog rules. The first rule is higher the atomic number, higher the priority. That means the atom which is attached to carbon is having high atomic number, that will be given more priority. For example, in this molecule, see here, to this sp2 carbon, bromine is attached here carbon is attached. As bromine is having more atomic number, then it will be given first priority, then methyl will be given second priority. And to this carbon, hydrogen is attached, here oxygen is attached, hence this OH group given first priority and hydrogen will be given second priority. And next, see here, this is one more example. In this, if we observe, see here, to this carbon atom, bromine and iodine are attached. Iodine is having high priority, hence it will be given first priority. Bromine will be, that means it can be given second priority. And see here, to this carbon atom, for chlorine first priority, and for fluorine second priority. And next, see here, after this, the second rule says higher the atomic weight, then higher priority. If you see this example, we can understand it. See here, to this carbon atom, deuterium is attached and hydrogen is attached. That means according to the first rule, as these are having same atomic number, with the second rule we can give priority to deuterium, as deuterium is having more atomic weight than this hydrogen, because hydrogen atomic weight is 1, for deuterium it is 2, because they are two isotopes. Hence deuterium will be given first priority, then hydrogen. And on this carbon, methyl first and hydrogen second. Next, this C. And the third one is when the priority order is not decided by the first atom attached. That means if the first atom attached are same, then proceed with comparing next atoms further attached. For example, if you see, this is the sp2 carbon to this, and let us see this carbon to this carbon atom here. Oh, just a minute. Okay. Right. For example, let us say this molecule is, if this CH3 is not there, let us say here hydrogen is there, CH2H, that is methyl group, is there, then we can easily understand the third rule. To this carbon, here this carbon is attached, here also carbon is attached. That means if same groups are attached or same atoms are attached to the carbon, then we should go with the further groups attached to that atoms. Then for this carbon atom, see here, 2 hydrogens attached and 1 carbon is attached. And to this carbon atom, 2 hydrogens and 1, that means 3 hydrogens are attached. So that according to the third rule, this ethyl group will be given first priority and methyl will be given second priority. That means if the groups attached to carbon are, if the atom attached to carbon are same, then we should proceed with the further groups attached to that atoms. Next, the fourth rule is double bonds are considered as 2 bonds and triple bonds are considered as 3 bonds. That means double bonds are duplicated and triple bonds are triplicated. For example, for this molecule, see here, this sp2 carbon is having CHO group and this CH2OH group. See here, double bond O is there, hence it can be considered as this carbon attached to one hydrogen and here one oxygen and another oxygen. That means double bond means it considered as two single bonds or two bonds, so that in these two molecules, the CHO and CH2OH, this will be given first priority because this carbon is attached to one hydrogen and two oxygens, and this carbon two hydrogens and one oxygen, hence the CHO group will be given first priority. Okay, then for this molecule, let us for giving EZ configuration, of course we can also assign cis trans configuration also. See here, for EZ, on this carbon, this chlorine will be given first priority, hydrogen second, and here chlorine 1, hydrogen second, so that the same groups are opposite side, then it will be configured as E molecule, and here same groups are same side, that means first priority, second, 1, 2, same group same side, hence it will be configured as Z configured molecule. Next, see here, and this is the molecule. In this also, for cis trans we can easily give here, this is trans molecule, this is cis molecule, this is trans. But coming to EZ nomenclature, see here, this methyl first priority, this is second, this is first, and this is second. Here also methyl 1, hydrogen 2, here methyl 1, hydrogen 2. Here same priority groups are opposite side, hence it is E. Same groups are same side, it is Z. It is Z. Then coming to one more example, see here, here on this carbon atom, iodine will be given 1, hydrogen 2, here bromine will be 1, chlorine will be 2, here also hydrogen 1, iodine 1, hydrogen 2, bromine 1, chlorine 2, same priority same side, Z, that means same priority same side, this is also same molecule, of course Z. Of course, if we write like this, see here, if this is H and this is iodine, if this is H, if this is iodine, then it will be E molecule, and this is Z molecule. First priority, same side. Here first priority iodine, first priority bromine, opposite side E configuration. Next, this molecule also, see here, iodine 1, bromine 2, chlorine 1, chlorine 2, same side Z, iodine 1, bromine 2, chlorine 1, chlorine 2, opposite side E configuration molecule. Then this molecule, see here, bromine 1, methyl 2, methyl 1, hydrogen 2. See here, this is same one priority groups are opposite side, hence E molecule, and here also methyl 1, hydrogen 2, bromine 1, methyl 2. Here this is Z molecule. And coming to cis trans isomerism, this is cis and this is trans. This is trans. And don't get confused with cis trans and EZ. That means for a molecule, if it is cis isomer, it can be Z or it can be E. Okay, that means trans is not equal to E and cis is not equal to Z. And then see here, next one is the relationship between symmetry and chirality. We know earlier it was considered as if the molecule is having chiral carbon, then the molecules are optically active. That means the molecules are not superimposable on its mirror images. For example, lactic acid, it is not superimposable on its mirror image. That means it is chiral molecule. That means it shows optical activity. But it cannot be holds good for the molecules having more chiral centers. For example, tartaric acid, it is having 2 chiral centers, but it is having a compound, a isomer, that is mesotartaric acid, which is not optically active. That means later it was that means it is stated that the molecules which are having chiral center may not be chiral molecule. And later on, some more molecules found to be chiral, although they are not having chiral centers. For example, these allenes, these are the compounds. For example, these allenes, they don't have a chiral carbon, but the molecules are chiral molecules. They show optical activity. They are not superimposable on their mirror images. There is no chiral carbon atom, but they are optically active. It means later it again stated that there are some molecules without chiral center, but the molecules are chiral. Then to define chiral molecules, the molecule should be unsymmetrical. And coming to see here, there are some symmetry elements in the molecules. There are axis of symmetry, plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, and alternative axis of symmetry. Let us see these one by one. Axis of symmetry means it is an axis passing through the molecule through which the rotation by 360 by n degrees, and it results the identical molecule. Then the molecule is said to be having Cn axis. For example, if a molecule is said to be having C2 axis, then 360 by n, that is 180 degrees. That means through an axis which is passing through the molecule, if you rotate the molecule by 180 degrees, if you get the same molecule, then the molecule is said to be having C2 axis. For example, this is the ethylene molecule. It is having C2 axis. That means, see here, if an axis passing through this 2 carbons, if we rotate through 180 degrees, if we get the similar molecule, then the molecule is said to be having C2 axis of symmetry. Then this molecule is see here showing C4 axis of symmetry. C4 means, see here, 360 by 4, that means 90 degrees. That means through this axis, if we rotate by 90 degrees, we get the similar molecule. That means it is said to be having C4 axis of symmetry. I think it is clear. Next, coming to plane of symmetry, that means a molecule is said to be having plane of symmetry if there is an imaginary plane that bisects the molecule into 2 identical halves, or an imaginary plane that bisects the molecule into 2 halves that are mirror image of each other. See here, this molecule, if the red dotted line, if there is a plane, that is an imaginary plane that divides the molecule into 2 identical halves, then this molecule is said to be having plane of symmetry. And next, the third one is center of symmetry. Center of symmetry means, see here, A center of symmetry, it is any point in the molecule. That means if we draw any line from the that means if we draw a line from any molecule to the center, and if it is extended, if the line is extended, then at the same distance, same group found, then the molecule is said to be having center of symmetry. See here for the example, this point is said to be, this molecule is having center of symmetry. This is the point. See, if we draw a line from the COOH to center, and if it further extend the line, at same distance we found another COOH group. This can be applicable to all groups present in the molecule. That means from any group, if we draw a line to the center, then if we extend the group in the same, if we extend the line in the same direction, then we get the similar group at the same distance. Then the molecule is said to be have center of symmetry. Alternating axis of symmetry. See here, this is indicated with SN. In this, the symmetry operation is a rotation followed by reflection. First of all, the molecule is rotated through an axis by 360 by n degrees. Then followed by reflection in plane perpendicular to the axis. If the molecule is identical with the original molecule, then the molecule is said to be having alternating axis of symmetry, that is SN symmetry. For example, this is the molecule through an axis, that is AB. If we rotate by 90 degrees, see here in clockwise direction, the first carbon comes here, and the second carbon comes here, and third and fourth. And if a plane, that means if the reflection molecule, after this reflection, see here, this molecule is identical with the original one, hence this molecule is said to be having alternating axis of symmetry. That means after rotation followed by reflection, if we get an identical molecule, then the molecule is said to be having alternating axis of symmetry. And the molecules which are having the latter three symmetry elements, that is plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, and alternating axis of symmetry, then the molecule is said to be disymmetric molecule, and the molecules are optically active. For example, this is the molecule 2,3 dibromobutane, which is disymmetric molecule. That means it is in this molecule there is no plane of symmetry, there is no center of symmetry, there is no alternating axis of symmetry. This molecule is said to be disymmetric molecule, and the molecule is optically active. But here only CN axis of symmetry will be present, but that is the absence of CN is not necessary for optical activity. This is disymmetric molecule, absence of plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, and alternating axis of symmetry. The molecule is chiral, optically active. That means it is not non-superimposable on its mirror image. Next, coming to asymmetric molecules, unlike disymmetric, in this asymmetric all symmetry elements are absent along with axis of symmetry also. That means axis of symmetry, plane of symmetry, center of symmetry, and alternating axis of symmetry are absent in these asymmetric molecules. These asymmetric molecules are also optically active. For example, this lactic acid, which is asymmetric molecule, absence of all symmetry elements. Now, coming to the comparison between asymmetric and dissymmetric, all asymmetric molecules are dissymmetric, but all dissymmetric are not asymmetric molecules. But both asymmetric and dissymmetric molecules are chiral molecules. This will be that means this should be remembered, and this is the relationship between symmetry and chirality. And by using these symmetry elements, we can that means we can tell whether a molecule is chiral molecule or not. That means chirality of a molecule can be best explained by the symmetry elements, not by chiral carbons. This is the relationship between symmetry and chirality. And next, coming to, we know that this concept of racemic mixture, a mixture that is having equal amounts of dextro and levo isomers, that means the two enantiomers said to be racemic mixture, for example TL tartaric acid. Racemic mixture is optically inactive, that means no net rotation of plane polarized light, though it is having two enantiomers which are having optically active. We know that enantiomers, they rotate the plane polarized light in opposite directions by same angle. As in racemic mixture, we are having equal proportion of two enantiomers. The rotation by one enantiomer is cancelled by another enantiomer. Hence, the racemic mixture is optically inactive. This is the racemic mixture if this D-lactic acid and L-lactic acids are mixed in 50-50%, that is called as racemic mixture. And coming to meso compounds, meso compound is optically inactive molecule of a set of stereoisomers, at least two of which are optically active. This means although it is having two or more stereogenic centers, the molecule is not chiral. Those are said to be meso compounds. Meso compounds are achiral compounds, though it is having chiral centers. That means it is superimposed on its mirror image. It is having plane of symmetry generally. That means a plane bisects the meso molecule into two identical halves. Hence, the molecule is not chiral molecule, and the molecule is optically inactive. As the plane splits the molecule into two identical halves, the stereochemistry of the both left and right side should be opposite to each other. Hence, results in optically inactive. For example, this is meso tartaric acid, which is that means same molecules superimposable on its mirror image, and this is optically inactive. This is also 2,3 dibromobutane, meso compound of meso isomer of 2,3 dibromobutane. And coming to racemic modification, it is a equimolar mixture of a pair of enantiomers, that is D and L, that is indicated with DL, optically inactive. That is racemic mixture, or its formation is a spontaneous process. Then the preparation of racemic modification is by following methods. See here, the first method is by mixing of enantiomers. That means just by mixing 50% D enantiomer and 50% LEVO enantiomer in equal amounts, we get the racemic mixture. 50% D plus 50% L, we get 100% racemic mixture compound. By synthesis, see here, the synthesis of asymmetric compounds from symmetrical compounds in the absence of chiral reagents, it gives racemic mixture. For example, see here, this is aldehyde. This on aldehyde, if this the attacking of nucleophile is as it is planar molecule aldehyde, the attacking of Cn minus is that means from front and back, then we get two enantiomers, that means we get a racemic mixture. Next, by racemation is the process in which an optically active is converted into optically inactive molecule, that is said to be racemization. That means an enantiomer is converted into racemic mixture. Generally, this racemization is carried out by using heat, light, and chemical reagents. For example, an optically active compound on heat or light, it will be converted into racemic mixture. This is about the preparations of racemic modification. And coming to resolution is a process of separation of pure enantiomer from the racemic mixture is called as resolution. We are having so many resolution techniques. The first one is mechanical separation or spontaneous resolution. This that means if the enantiomers crystals they are having different shape, then this method will be applicable. That means the enantiomers are separated by magnifying glass or forceps, but this is a time taking process, and means most of the time every compound cannot be crystallized at room temperature, hence the separation is very difficult. Next, biochemical separation. This separation, what we do means, that means the microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, yeast, they are grown in dilute solution of the racemic mixture. This microorganism eat up one enantiomer, leaving another enantiomer. Hence, the separation of one enantiomer will be possible. For example, the Penicillium glaucum, it destroys the plus isomer of racemic mixture, that is ammonium tartarate and racemic mixture, leaving the minus isomer, that is minus ammonium tartarate in the solution. That means it eats or it destroys the dextroisomer and leaving the levoisomer. Hence, the separation is possible. A chromatographic separation, we can separate the enantiomers by using chromatography techniques, generally by using a chiral or optically active support. Generally, the isomer which binds strongly to the stationary phase, it will be eluted lately, and the one enantiomer which held less tightly, it eluted first. Next, kinetic method. See here, sometimes in the racemic mixture, that is the mixture of enantiomer, one enantiomer reacts fastly than another. In this case, we use kinetic method. For example, menthol reacts with the plus mandelic acid quickly than minus mandelic acid. That means the mixture, that is racemic mixture of, from the racemic mixture of mandelic acid, we can separate the enantiomers by using menthol. Next, precipitation is a process in which one enantiomer is get precipitated so that the enantiomers can be separated. By diastereomers method, in this method, first of all, these enantiomers are converted into diastereomers. As diastereomers are having different physical properties, they can be easily separated, and the separated diastereomers again converted into enantiomers by simple hydrolysis types of processes, so that the racemic mixture can be separated into pure enantiomers. For example, this is lactic acid racemic mixture. It is treated with an optically active brucine, S-brucine. We get two diastereomers, as these diastereomers are easily separated. After that, this diastereomer again with hydrolysis, it is converted into pure enantiomer. Hence, the enantiomers can be separated. And the last topic in this chapter, that is prediction of number of stereoisomers. See here, for the prediction of number of stereoisomers, we can use some formulas. That means number of stereoisomers means number of optical isomers and mesoforms. This prediction depends upon the following, that is number of chiral centers, and moreover whether the chiral centers are similar or dissimilar. In this, we can classify the molecules into two types. One is symmetrical molecules, another one is unsymmetrical molecules. For unsymmetrical molecules, the formula is simple. The number of optical isomers is equal to 2 power n, and there is no possibility for mesomolecules because those are unsymmetrical molecules. Hence, the number of optical isomers is equal to 2 power n. The total number of stereoisomers is equal to also 2 power n plus 0, that means 2 power n. And coming to symmetrical molecules are two types, having even number of chiral centers and having odd number of chiral centers. And for the molecules having even number of chiral centers, the optical isomers number will be calculated by using the formula 2 power n minus 1, and the number of mesoforms, because here the molecule is symmetrical molecule, mesoforms are also possible. Mesoforms can be calculated by the formula 2 power n by 2 minus 1. Hence, the total number of stereoisomers is equal to number of optical isomers plus number of mesoforms. Hence, it is equal to 2 power n minus 1 plus 2 power n by 2 minus 1. This is for symmetrical molecules having even number of chiral centers. And for unsymmetrical molecules having odd number of chiral centers, the formula is different. In this case, the number of optical isomers is equal to 2 power n minus 1 minus 2 power n minus 1 by 2, and number of mesoforms is equal to 2 power n minus 1 by 2. That means the total number of molecules, the total number of stereoisomers is equal to this plus this. These are get cancelled. The total number of stereoisomers is equal to 2 power n minus 1. That means by using these type of formulas, we can calculate the number of stereoisomers, or we can predict the number of stereoisomers possible. For example, see here, this is the molecule trihydroxyglutaric acid. This molecule is actually symmetrical molecules having odd number of chiral centers. Then for these molecules, we can calculate by using the formulas. See here, number of optical isomers is equal to, calculated by this formula, 2 power n minus 1 minus 2 power n minus 1 by 2. Hence 2 power 3 minus 1 minus 2 power 3 minus 1 by 2, that is 2 optical isomers are possible. And number of mesoforms, as it is symmetrical molecule, we have 2 power n minus 1 by 2, that means 2 mesoforms are possible for these molecules. Hence total number of stereoisomers will be these 2 plus these 2, that means 4 isomers are possible for this trihydroxyglutaric acid. And these are the 4 possible isomers of possible stereoisomers of trihydroxyglutaric acid. In this, the first 2 compounds are actually optically active. They are optically active molecules, and the latter 2 molecules, that is third and fourth compounds, they are meso compounds, as they have some plane of symmetry. They are meso compounds and they are optically inactive. That means 2 optically active isomers and 2 mesoforms for trihydroxyglutaric acid. And next, coming to prediction of number of stereoisomers in case of tartaric acid, it is also a symmetrical molecules but having even number of chiral centers. In this case, the number of optical isomers can be calculated by 2 power n minus 1, that means 2 power 3 2 minus 1, that is 2 optical isomers are possible for tartaric acid. And coming to mesoforms, the formula is 2 power n by 2 minus 1, that means 1 mesoform will be possible, 1 mesoform is possible for tartaric acid. That means total number of stereoisomers will be 2 plus 1, that means 3 isomers possible for tartaric acid. Let us see the structures of stereoisomers. See, tartaric acid is having these 2 optical active compounds. These are optically active enantiomeric pair of tartaric acid, and this one is mesoform. It is having plane of symmetry, 1 mesoform and 2 optically active, that means 3 stereoisomers for tartaric acid. And next here, butane 1, 2, 3 triol. Here this is asymmetrical unsymmetrical molecules having 2 chiral centers. As it is unsymmetrical molecules, the number of meso compounds is 0 and number of optical isomers is equal to 2 power n, that means we get 4 isomers are 4 optically active isomers are possible for this butane 1, 2, 3 triol. These are the 4 possible optically active isomers, that is stereoisomers of this butane 1, 2, 3 triols. And for example, this is lactic acid. Some more examples. Lactic acid, it is also unsymmetrical molecule having 1 chiral center. Number of optical isomers is equal to 2 power 1, that means 2, and there is no mesoforms because the molecule is unsymmetrical. And if you see the structures, these are the 2 possible enantiomers for lactic acid. And for example, one more example, this is same like tartaric acid, symmetrical molecule with 2 chiral centers. The optical isomers will be calculated by the formula 2 power n minus 1, that is 2. Mesoforms 2 power n by 2 minus 1, that is 1 molecule, 1 mesoform will be possible. Total number of stereoisomers will be 2 plus 1, that is 3 stereoisomers possible for 2, 3 dibromobutane. These are the 3 isomers possible, in which these 2 are optical active molecules, that is enantiomeric pair, and this is meso molecule, meso compound of 2, 3 dibromobutane. I think you have understood this calculation of stereoisomers for chiral molecules. Let us see the last example, that is 2, 3 dibromopentane. It is unsymmetrical molecule and it is having 2 chiral centers, 0 meso compounds because it is unsymmetrical, and number of optical isomers is equal to 2 power n, that means 2 power n, that that means 4 isomers are possible and mesoforms are 0. And here are the 4 isomers of this 2,3 dibromopentane, and meso compounds are 0. 2 enantiomers are possible, 2 enantiomeric pairs are possible for this 2,3 dibromopentane. Because in this way we can calculate the number of stereoisomers possible for chiral molecules by using, that means first of all we have to identify whether the molecule is symmetrical or unsymmetrical, and moreover if the molecule is symmetrical we have to identify the number of chiral centers having even or odd. In these 3 cases we have 3 different formulas. By using that formulas we can identify the number of stereoisomers possible for those compounds, that is moreover optically active isomers and mesoisomers we can easily calculate. And with this the all topics syllabus are covered in this video classes. In these video classes, please go through them, and I think you will understand the topics. With this I conclude this session. Thank you.